Let's talk about Sony's latest stroke of genius. They just closed Bluepoint Studios. You know, the studio that remade Demon Souls. The one that gave Shadow of a Colossus that master's touch. The studio with a perfect track record of taking some classics and making them great. Yeah, that studio. They shut them down. And what are they doing instead? They're dumping hundreds of millions of dollars into live service slop that nobody wants. Chasing the ghost of Fortnite's money while players are literally begging them to just make good games. I'm done. I'm done pretending that this makes sense. Because it doesn't. And if you're as tired as I am watching the games industry fumble the easiest layups in gaming history, then stick around because this might be the single dumbest decision Sony has made, at least recently. The games industry is cooked. And I'm not just talking about a bad year, it's been cooked for a while. The industry is actively hostile to the people who keep it propped up. You know, you, me, the players. We're getting $70 messes that might be fixed down the line. We're watching once great studios pump out soulless cash grabs designed by committee games. And when we don't buy it, or we play it for a few hours and then leave a bad review on Steam, we're told that we're the problem. They have the audacity to blame us, saying that gamers just don't appreciate the vision or that we're toxic because we don't support the developers. No, that. The players have been sending a message loud and clear for a long time, but AAA studios and publishers are just plugging their ears and chugging on ahead. The AAA industry will be forced to change or it will fail. Between underwhelming game launches, gameplay that just isn't fun, pandering viewpoint slop, and game studios not delivering on promises, I've become entirely disillusioned with the AAA industry. And I know I'm not alone in that. You know what players do appreciate? Games that work. Games that respect our time. Games that aren't trying to nickel and dime us with microtransactions and battle passes. And you know who's been absolutely crushing it the last little while? AA studios and indie studios. Teams with a fraction of Sony's budget and resources. Somehow they're making games that are better than these billion-dollar corporations. Claire Expedition 33, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Splatro, Silksong, Hades 1 and 2. Take your pick. A completely realized and fully delivered game day one. Imagine that. No, we'll fix it later. No battle pass. No roadmap with a bunch of crap on there. Just a finished, polished game. And get this, it's fun to play. And if you aren't going to make great new games, then at least go back to the well of stuff that you have and give it a modern polish and some flair. And after the state of play that we just had that announced the Metal Gear Solid remake and the God of War remake for the original trilogy, I thought Sony understood the assignment, but I guess I was wrong. Remakes are printing money right now. Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth, massive critical and commercial success. Dragon Quest 1 through 3 HD 2D Remake, same thing. Fans love it. Many players are experiencing these games now for the first time ever, breathing new life into these IPs. Resident Evil remakes? Every single one so far has been a financial success. RE2, RE4, Capcom has figured out the blueprint to remakes. Take a beloved game, modernize it with care and respect, and players will show up. But here's the key. They have to be good. Players aren't idiots. We can sniff out a cash grab a mile away. We don't want the same game released with just a fresh coat of paint and a $70 price tag. Last of Us Part 1, Skyrim for the bajillionth time on a new system. We want what Bluepoint Studios does. Faithful to the original spirit of the game, but rebuilt from the ground up with modern tech. Demon Souls on PS5. That's how you do a remake. It looked incredible. It played beautifully. It honored everything that made the original special while also making it accessible to a new generation of players. Shadow of the Colossus, same deal. Bluepoint understands the assignment. And Sony just closed them. Why? So they could keep funding what exactly? Let me tell you what Sony's brilliant strategy is right now. They're burning money, hundreds of millions of dollars, trying to chase live service lightning in a bottle. They want the next Fortnite, the next Apex Legends, the next Ark Raiders. So they greenlight a dozen live service projects. Games where the characters look like HR diversity posters, where the writing reads like a corporate sensitivity training manual. Then they cancel half of them mid-development after wasting millions of dollars on them and a lot of time and a lot of resources. The ones that do launch, Concord, dead in 2 weeks. And now they're gearing up Hunter's Gathering. And I'm calling it right now, it's gonna flop. You know how I know? Just look at it. Who actually wants this? Who is this for? Sony thinks people will just shell out money for the Horizon IP alone, and they're wrong. Sony fundamentally doesn't understand how the live service model works. They're not going to be pulling players away from Fortnite. They're not going to be pulling players away from Arc Raiders. They're going to be cannibalizing their own games. They're the left hand fighting the right hand. Every live service game that they launch is going to compete with Helldivers 2 and other games in their ecosystem. And here's the kicker. Players don't even want this shit. We've been screaming it for years. We want single player experiences. We want complete games that ship and work day one. We want stories that respect our intelligence. We don't want to be treated like walking wallets. We don't want to be a part of your culture war. But Sony is so busy chasing investor-pleasing buzzwords. Live service, engagement metrics, player retention, daily login rate, all these kind of things. They've completely lost the plot. Meanwhile, Bluepoint, the studio that was actually delivering things that people wanted, well, they get the axe. Make it make sense. I just don't understand how it's so hard for them to put themselves in our shoes. Like, you have a full-time job. You have kids. You got responsibilities piling up. After a long day, the meetings, the emails, the commute, dinner with the kids, homework, you finally get maybe an hour to yourself. You just want to unwind. You want to sink into a game. You want to escape for a little bit. Explore a world, get lost in a story, whatever your thing is. And Sony's out here saying, we've got the perfect game for you. A live service looter shooter with daily login rewards, battle passes, microtransactions, FOMO-based seasonal content, and it will punish you if you don't play every single day. Or maybe even worse, here's a $70 version of a game that you already own and we didn't change anything about it, and it actually runs worse than the original. That's not respect, that's just active contempt. You know what is respect? Bluepoint Studios handing you a complete game day one. Here's Demon's Souls, the whole game, it works, enjoy. And Sony killed that. Here's what pisses me off the most. Sony and other AAA studios have infinite money and resources compared to these AA and indie studios. They have the resources, they have the talent, they have the infrastructure. Sony owns one of the most beloved game catalogs of all time. Bloodborne, Legend of Dragoon, Resistance, Sly Cooper, Infamous, Killzone. The list goes on and on. And they're just sitting on it, doing nothing. No, worse than nothing. They're actively closing the studio who could have brought these projects to life because Sony's too busy hiring Sweet Baby Inc. types to consult on their games. Instead of asking, is this game fun? Is there an audience for this game? They've lost the plot entirely. And you know what some of the most successful games of recent memory have in common? Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Black Myth Wukong. They didn't hire consultants to tell them how to make their game. They weren't trying to check a million different demographic boxes. They didn't design characters by committee. They just made a good game. They did it through a narrowed focus and a targeted specific vision. And players showed up. Millions of them. Meanwhile, Sony's out here closing Bluepoint Studios so they can fund more Concords. More games that look like they were designed in a corporate boardroom by people who don't even play games. Because they probably were. That's not a strategy. That's sabotage. You know what Bluepoint could have done? Bloodborne remake. Legend of Dragoon remake. Instant classic, Prince money. But no, Sony looks at that golden opportunity and says, nah, let's make another Concord. It's not incompetence anymore. It's intentional. Sony, other publishers, AAA studios, they've decided they don't have to care about you, the player. They'll ship games with battle passes, daily rewards, incomplete content, microtransactions, and when it fails, they will blame you, the player. Oh, you just didn't understand our vision. The market is too competitive. Bullshit. The market's not too competitive. Your games are just bad. I almost feel bad getting after Sony like this after the absolutely baffling news out of Microsoft where they just hired the AI grocery girl to run Xbox. But Xbox, we all knew you were going to die sooner or later. It's been a long time coming, and that's a whole separate video anyways. Here's the thing. We don't have to put up with it anymore. We can be the consequence. We can hold them accountable. You want to know how to tell every AAA corpo who's chasing trends and just looking to milk you for all you're worth how to go f*** themselves? Simple. Stop buying their shit. Don't pre-order their half-baked trash. Don't play their live service games. Don't get sucked into their microtransactions and battle passes and daily rewards. Don't do it. You know what you should do? Support the studios that actually respect you. Support indie, like I know you have. They've been growing like crazy. I know you've been doing your part. Buy Clair Obscur. Buy Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Play Arc Raiders. Support remasters and remakes that actually care about the game and the original spirit and the way that it feels to play. These are the games and the studios that deserve your money and your attention. And hell, if you want to get even more extreme, just stop playing new games altogether. Just go look at your backlog, go find a game that you haven't played, play through it. I guarantee it's better than the slop that's coming out today. Because if we keep settling for less, if we keep rewarding these corpos for this garbage that they keep giving us, that's all we're ever going to get. And here's the most frustrating part. Sony had the answer right there. They had a path forward. I'm not saying it's going to save them. I'm not saying it was the only path forward. But Bluepoint was a path forward. They could have been Sony's safety net, a reliable revenue stream while Sony figured out what the hell they're doing with their live service experiments. Bluepoint could have kept the PlayStation brand strong. They could have kept interest high in the PlayStation brand, engagement high with some old properties. But Sony chose to double down on failure. They closed a studio that understood what players want, and they're funneling that money into live service games that are going to bomb. Hunter's Gathering is it's not going to be a success. It's the perfect encapsulation of everything that's wrong with AAA gaming. Shareholders over players. Trends over quality. Short-term profits over long-term trust. And when Hunter's Gathering flops, and it will flop, Sony's going to stand there scratching their heads wondering what the hell went wrong. I'll tell you what went wrong. You stopped listening to your audience. You stopped making games for gamers. You started making games for investors. And now you're shocked that we're not showing up. So here's what I want to know from you. What old PlayStation game deserves the Bluepoint treatment? What classic are you dying to see remade with a level of care and some new polish? Is it Bloodborne? Is it Legend of Dragoon? Let me know in the comments. And if you're as fed up with the AAA bullshit as I am, if you're tired of watching billion-dollar studios fumble easy layups, all while indie studios are running circles around them, then hit that subscribe button. Because somebody needs to keep calling them out on their bullshit. And we'll watch together as Hunter's Gathering crashes and burns. Demand better, vote with your wallet, support indie, support the studios that actually respect you and your time. Until next time, stay skeptical, keep gaming, peace.